Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first video for my 2025 monthly TBR. I am so excited to pick out my January TBR for 2025. So excited. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it because I have a few things I want to do in this video. So this year, I have decided that every month in my TBR video, I'm going to be using the mini books that I created that if you want to see how I made these, I'll go ahead and link it above, but I did this during Bookmas. But this is all of the books that I currently have on my physical TBR. And so there's 93 books now in here after Christmas. And every month, I'm going to use this to pick a couple books for my TBR. So for the month of January, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be picking 2 books out of here to go ahead and read for the month. And then what I thought I would do is I would choose 3 books using ChatGPT. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste all of my unread books that I currently have on my Google Sheets, which I have another video talking about how I'm tracking my reading and my bookshelf and all of the things that I'm going to be doing in 2025. I have a Google Sheets that I created for all of that. So if you would like to see that video, I'll link that above as well. But I'm going to copy and paste all of the books that I currently have as unread, which is essentially all of the books that are in here, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to pick 3 of them. So I'm going to have 2 randomly selected by me, 3 randomly selected by ChatGPT, and then the other 5, because I'm going to be doing 10 for the month of January. The other 5 are going to be 100% my mood read. So this is going to give me half of my TBR is going to be picked for me that I think I'm going to want to read. And then the other half is 100% random. So we're going to do that. And then after I pick my TBR, then I'm going to go ahead and update my reading journal and create my January spread. If you would like to see how I set up my 2025 reading journal, then I'll also link that above because I have a video on that. So that is what we're doing in this video. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. So this video is not insanely long. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick 2 books out of this jar to have for my January TBR. So we're going to just pick one here first and see what that is. We're going to choose this one. This is Winter from the Lunar Chronicles. Now, Winter is actually one of the later books in the Lunar Chronicles. I have only read Cinder, and I think the next book of that series is Scarlet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this to the side and I'm going to find Scarlet in here, and that is what I'm going to be reading for this month. So hold please while I find that book. So I found Scarlet, which is going to be book 2 of the Lunar Chronicles. So this is going to be the book that I'm going to be reading, and I'm going to go ahead and put Winter back in this jar. So Scarlet is going to be book 1 of my January TBR. And then we're going to pick one more out of this jar and see what that book is. And hopefully it's not another series. It's the only problem with this. So actually this one worked out. So this is Foxglove, and this is book 2 of the Belladonna series, which I have not read. I've read Belladonna, so this is going to be the next book that I do need to read of that series. So we have Scarlet, which is book 2 of the Lunar Chronicles, and then we have Foxglove, which is book 2 of the Belladonna series. So those are the first 2 books that we're going to be reading for the month of January. Now I'm going to bring my laptop out, and we're going to ask ChatGPT what books I should be reading. So let me do a quick screen share. I'm going to pick one book of the following for me to read. And then I have gone in and highlighted or selected all of my unread books out of my bookshelf. And we are going to paste that. And so the first book it has chosen is The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. So I'm going to go ahead and find that in here. This is probably going to be the worst part of this whole process every month, is going through here and trying to find all of the books that I need to read. So we have book 3, the first book chosen by ChatGPT. So now we're going to pick another. Lessons in Chemistry. I actually was really excited to read that book. I got it last year for Christmas and I never was able to read it. So I am excited to read that book. And we have Lessons in Chemistry. And then we'll do pick another. If We Were Villains. That was probably one of the books I was not wanting to read. I did not want to read it last year, but this is going to force me to read it this year. So we have If We Were Villains, which is book 3 from ChatGPT. So the next 5 books are going to be chosen by me, 100% mood read. Now, I do have a couple of books that I know are going to be, I believe, delivered in January. So let me go back to my little Google Sheets for everything reading in 2025. And the books that I've ordered, I do have Onyx Storm, which is going to be released on January the 21st, I think. So that one should be arriving, and it should arrive in the month of January. And then the next book that I have ordered that's going to be delivered maybe in January is Where Did You Go? And that is book 3 of the Infatuated Fae trilogy. And I'm so excited for that one, but that's supposed to be released January the 28th. And I probably am not going to be able to get it because that's the only problem with pre-ordering these books from Barnes & Noble is I don't actually get them on the day that they get released. So it's probably going to be arriving probably on January the 30th, and I'm not going to have enough time to read it, but I will be able to read Onyx Storm. So I do want to include Onyx Storm in my January TBR. And then with that, I am going to be rereading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame because I need to remember everything that happened in those 2 books before I go into Onyx Storm. So I am going to do a reread of the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So we have those 3 books that are going to be included. And then the other 2 books, I have a couple of books on Kindle that I did want to go ahead and read. I've had downloaded on Kindle for a while that I wanted to finally get to. So let me go to my library. And the first book that I did want to read is going to be Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. This, I believe, is a dark romance, I think, or dark fantasy romance. And I'm really, really excited about this. I don't really know anything about it. So that is going to be book 9. And then the final book that I want to read, let me see. I think what I want to read is going to be A Love Letter to Whiskey. This has been on so many people's favorite books of 2024. And so I know that Larissa loves A Love Letter to Whiskey, specifically the 5th edition. I have heard this is the edition that you really want to read because I think you get the additional parts of this book at the end of the first story, the original story. I guess you need that other piece just to kind of get a full, like a full feeling or a full, I don't know. I've just been told that the 5th edition is where you need to be. So we're going to be reading A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. And I have heard this is the most frustrating book. It is a second chance romance apparently, but it's like more of a 5th and 6th and 7th chance romance with a lot of miscommunication, a lot of angst. And people have said that you get so frustrated in this book, but it is such a good book and will stay with you for ever. It's just ingrained into your soul after you read it. And I need that. So this is going to be book 10 for the month of January. And that is going to be all of the books that I'm going to be reading in January. And I'm feeling good about it. So there are definitely books that I wasn't anticipating wanting to read, such as If We Were Villains and Scarlet. Those were definitely not on my radar, but we're gonna knock them out in the month of January. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick the books up. So I have the physical books. I do also have, because I went to Michael's, and Michael's has the little mini books that you can get in like those little balls. I don't remember what it's called. I've gotten a couple of those, and with it comes with this little bookshelf or like this little cube. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all of my little books that are on my TBR are going to be in here, and that way I'll have them in one little spot, and as I read them, I'm going to put them in my other jar that's going to be my unread TBR, and then I'm gonna have another jar throughout the year that's going to be all of the read books that I've picked from here. So we're gonna keep them here in this little holding spot until I read them, and then we'll move them to the read jar. Hopefully all of these will be in it when I do my wrap up for January. So now I'm gonna go pick these 5 books off of my bookshelf. Actually, I'm gonna pick my 7 books off of my bookshelf to include Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. And then we're going to go ahead and start working on my January reading journal. So we're gonna do that now.
Come a little closer, I wanna dance with you. Everything's moving slower, I don't know what it is you do. I've been looking at you all night, trying to figure you out. I just wanna make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good tonight. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes.
Okay, so I have finished my January spread in my reading journal, and let's just show you what it looks like. So I have 0 creative skills when it comes to drawing or doodling or anything like that. So I just have some simple like fireworks, and then on this page is my TBR. I do have extra spots. I went ahead, and my plan is only to read about 10 books a month, but I know for a fact there is going to be times where the books that I pick for my TBR are not going to be the ones that I am in the mood to read once I actually get into that month. So in the case that happens, I have some blank spots so that way I can put in the actual books that I do end up reading. And then, say for example, if I end up not reading Lessons in Chemistry, then I'll just do like an X over this book cover just so I can annotate that this was part of my TBR but I did not read it. And then down here I will put in the actual book cover that I did end up reading, and I probably am going to color in that box or like put a different color around that new book to kind of annotate or flag it as a book that was not part of my TBR initially, but was one that I added to it as the month kind of progressed. So that's what the thought was for these empty spots. I don't ever think I'm ever going to actually read 16 books in a month. That's just not something I would be able to do, given that I work full time and I just have things going on and I cannot read that many books. But I have spots just in case I need to add books to this TBR that was not part of it at the beginning of the month. So that's what this is. I do not have any other pages annotated or created as of now. So the next page after this January spread is going to be, I'm going to print out my story graph wrap up here. So like the table of how many books I read, how many pages I read, you know, kind of that type of synopsis. So that's going to be something I'm going to print out at the end of the month. So that's going to be part of my January wrap up. I'm going to be doing that. And then these other pages, these other blank pages are if I decide to do a book spread on any particular book. So for example, if I read Onyx Storm and I just want to do an entire spread of like fan cover art of that book or thoughts on that book, I have all of these pages that I can use to create individual spreads for those specific books. I'm not going to have a spread for every single book because I might not want to write about any of these books that I'm going to be reading. They might just be basic books, nothing super fantastic. So I'm not going to have a spread for every single book that I have on my TBR. But I do have room if I do want to do that. So that is my January spread. And then I'm probably, after I get done reading each of these books, I do want to I'm probably going to flag it, like put some stars, like what the star rating is. I might do that as well, but I'm not sure. So that is my reading journal for the month of January. And with that, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please make sure you do so. I would greatly appreciate it. One of the goals for 2025 is to hopefully have 500 subscribers to this channel. I would be very excited if that happened. If not, you know, that's fine. I appreciate every single subscriber that has subscribed, even if it's only one subscriber. I still am greatly appreciative for you subscribing. So if you have not subscribed, please make sure you do so. Hit that button down below. And with that, I will see everybody in my next video. Bye.